Hey guys, welcome to Tech Brainiac. Today we will compare Nokia 5.3 and Poco M2 Pro. Let's begin. Starting with looks and feel of the two smartphones. Both the phones have a plastic back. Nokia 5.3 is 8.5mm thick, whereas Poco M2 Pro is 8.8mm thick. Nokia 5.3 weighs 185 grams, whereas Poco M2 Pro weighs 209 grams. Nokia 5.3 has cyan, sand and charcoal color variants, and on the other side Poco M2 Pro has tropical green, glacier white, interstellar grey color variants. Since looks and feel of a smartphone is subjective, I will go for the Nokia 5.3 as it is less heavy and I like the way it looks and feels. Now let's move on to the displays of the phones. Nokia 5.3 has a IPS LCD panel, while Poco M2 Pro has a IPS LCD panel. Nokia 5.3 has a 6.55-inch HD Plus panel with resolution of 720 by 1600 and an aspect ratio of 20:9, while the Poco M2 Pro has a 6.67-inch Full HD Plus panel with resolution of 1080 by 2400 and an aspect ratio of 20:9. Nokia 5.3 has a pixel density of 238 and a refresh rate of 60 Hz, whereas Poco M2 Pro has a pixel density of 395 and a refresh rate of 60 Hz. Nokia 5.3 comes with a water droplet notch type with 82.3 screen-to-body ratio, while Poco M2 Pro has a punch hole notch with 84.5 screen-to-body ratio. As display is concerned, I will go for the Poco M2 Pro. Now let's move on to the platforms of the devices. Nokia 5.3 runs on Android 10 stock Android, whereas Poco M2 Pro runs on Android 10, MIUI 11. Nokia 5.3 is powered by a Qualcomm SM6125 Snapdragon 665, 11nm, octa-core chipset, whereas Poco M2 Pro is powered by a Qualcomm SM7125 Snapdragon 720G, 8nm, octa-core chipset. Nokia 5.3 comes with 64GB storage variants, whereas Poco M2 Pro comes with 64 and 128GB storage variants. Nokia 5.3 has eMMC 5.1 type storage, whereas Poco M2 Pro has a UFS 2.1 type storage. Nokia 5.3 has a 3, 4 and 6GB RAM variants, whereas Poco M2 Pro has a 4 and 6GB RAM variants. Nokia 5.3 has a SAR value of 0.703 watt per kilogram, whereas Poco M2 Pro has a SAR value of 1.138 watt per kilogram. So clearly I will go for Poco M2 Pro when it comes to overall performance. Let's move to the cameras of the two smartphones. Nokia 5.3 has a rear camera setup of 13 plus 5 plus 2 plus 2 megapixels. Whereas Poco M2 Pro has a rear camera setup of 48 plus 8 plus 5 plus 2 megapixels. Nokia 5.3 can record 4K at 30 fps and 1080p at 30 fps from its rear camera. Whereas Poco M2 Pro can record 4K at 30 fps, 1080p at 30, 60 and 120 fps, 720p at 960 fps from its rear camera. Nokia 5.3 has a front camera of 8 megapixels. Whereas Poco M2 Pro has a front camera of 16 megapixels. Nokia 5.3 can record 1080 at 30 fps from its front camera. Whereas Poco M2 Pro can record 1080p at 30 and 120 fps from its front camera. Nokia 5.3 has EIS stability and Poco M2 Pro also has a gyro EIS. Both the phones have a pretty good camera setup, but Poco M2 Pro takes an extra edge over the camera comparison, so personally I would go for the Poco M2 Pro. Let's move to the batteries of the two phones. Nokia 5.3 has a 4000 mAh LiPo battery. Nokia 5.3 can last up to 1 full day with average usage. Poco M2 Pro has a 5000 mAh LiPo battery. Poco M2 Pro can last up to 1.5 days with average usage. Nokia 5.3 comes with a 10-watt charger which can charge your phone in 1 hour 45 minutes. Poco M2 Pro comes with a 33-watt charger which can charge your phone in 2 hours. So as long as battery life and charging time is concerned, Poco M2 Pro is a winner here. At the end, let's come to pricing of the both devices. Nokia 5.3 is priced at Rs 12,499 and Poco M2 Pro is priced at Rs 15,990. That is all about the comparison. Both the devices are pretty good at their stands. However, if I am asked to choose one device after comparing all the aspects and the one that fits to my daily needs, then I would choose Poco M2 Pro. Thanks for watching our video. Watch more of our videos to choose which phone to buy instead of wasting your money. See you in our next video.